This is just a little video to help you identify some of the more common species of hoverfly you might encounter this summer. Now here's the first one. This is the Mermaid hoverfly, and it's called the Mermaid hoverfly because it is the colour of marmalade, and on bright sunny days it really looks like marmalade. It's a lovely, very common species. This one is on the Virginia creeper. Here you can see it from above. It's a nice, dainty kind of a hoverfly. Well, it's a pretty good, strong flyer, but every hoverfly has its own pattern. And you can see this one has a very distinctive pattern. There can be a little bit of variation. Sometimes there's a kind of white lines underneath the bars. Now here is the Dronefly. There's a few species of Dronefly. They're interesting because their larvae, the maggot actually lives in water and has a tail that is like a periscope, and it has little sections, so it actually looks like little pipes inserted into each other, and it breathes through the tail. It's not a true tail, it's just a breathing tube, but that's why it's called by the unfortunate name the rat-tailed maggot. But if you look at it closely, it's not quite like that. Now here is another very common species of hoverfly. This is actually often called the common hoverfly. And here is the beaked hoverfly. There's two species of beaked hoverfly. One has a dark stripe down its abdomen and one doesn't. It's hard to see which one it is here. But you see the long beak. It can feed deeper in flowers than other species. And that beak seems to allow it to fly very fast as well. It gives it a sort of like a nose cone on an airplane. But you see that long tongue is housed in the beak. These are great at hovering, but you can see it has pollen all over its tongue. It's feeding on buddleia. Some people mistake these for horseflies. They think the beak is actually a biting beak, but the horsefly beak actually projects downwards, so underneath the head. And now here you can see more marmalade hoverflies feeding on dandelion, which this does go to show how important dandelion is. And sometimes you do see these in a lot of big numbers. There's a bunch of them again, and they're on a oilseed rape. And so you can imagine these are very important pollinators for oilseed rape. And you can see them hovering there, they're brilliant. Just remember, if you're ever confused as to whether you're looking at a bee or a fly, because hoverflies do resemble wasps and bees, it's the head. There's almost, apart from the really big eyes, the hoverflies have very small antennae, which are like almost like little moustaches just between their eyes. Now here's something interesting. A caravan. In the side of the caravan, a little hole, like where a nut or a screw goes in, and this is a wasp that feeds on small hoverflies. You can see it's struggling to get the hoverfly into its nest. There are a lot of wasps, a lot that specialize in storing or stocking their nests with certain kinds of insects. Some, like this one, you see the hoverfly its head was too big to fit in. It was obviously paralyzed or dead at that stage. The wasp wasn't going to give up, but the wasp had found its way into the paneling, and it was probably storing lots of hoverflies for its larvae to eat. Now here's the long-bodied hoverfly, which is a really nice, beautiful hoverfly with a really long body. And this here is known as the sun hoverfly, Heliophilus, which means sun lover. And they do like to perch on plants and sunbathe. They really like sunbathing actually. But look at the stripes on the thorax, which is the between the head and the abdomen. It's under vertical kind of stripes. And that's how you can identify this species most easily. See the stripes there just behind the head? That's how you know it's a sun hoverfly.